Guys, thank you so much for this interview. I know that these times are difficult, but I must say that it's really amazing that I can interview people from all around the world through Zoom. So it's really amazing. We are very excited with your new release. Married in Vegas sounds totally awesome. So how was it to work in this new song and also release it during these times?
It's lovely to speak to you too as well. I hope you're doing all right. It was good. It's been weird. I think it's obviously now turned into the new normal, but I think at the beginning when we just went into lockdown, we were finishing the album anyway, so we were kind of coming towards the end of the process, and then we went into lockdown, and it kind of forced us to finish the album because we can get distracted sometimes. But it kind of worked. We're lucky that we've all got recording setups at home. Married in Vegas was a song that was entirely written in lockdown, produced, recorded in lockdown. So that's a kind of, it's weird because I don't think we would have had that song, but we definitely wouldn't have had that song without lockdown. So we kind of, it's worked out in our favor in a weird way.
You just recently released the song and now it has a lot of views on YouTube, a lot of listeners on Spotify. I mean, it's really amazing. So do you feel any pressure now that the release of Cherry Blossom is really nearby, and also with the song being so successful?
I think there's always pressure releasing an album after you've released like 4 in the past. But when it comes to an album, we always do it for the passion and the love of the music, and we really enjoy kind of just putting it out. And it's more excitement. We're just really looking forward to share what we've experienced in the last couple of years with the fans, and hopefully they, enjoy it. So it's more about looking forward to it for us, and getting out there and touring it.
And do you think that those, that pressure, the nervous and everything, are those the same feelings you had when you just began the band, or do you think that it has changed?
It's kind of like, in some ways it does feel the same because it has been a long time since we did like an album campaign, but in some ways it's actually scarier than, and like a bit more nerve-wracking than the first time, because I guess we've been very lucky that we've been successful kind of around the world for the past 7 years, so it is a bit of anticipation coming back, and we just hope that the fans that we've already kind of acquired along the way will like the new music. So yeah, I think in some ways it's actually scarier now than it was in the beginning.
Perfect. And well, I know that music, it's an experience, it's something that you listen and everything, but do you think you can describe what surprises can we expect from the new album?
That's good. We haven't been asked that yet. I think you can expect, Married in Vegas is a good indicator of what you kind of can expect, especially like the drum sound. There's a lot of those kind of harsh live drums, big energetic songs that we're very proud of. The album was written very much with a live show in mind, so we were thinking that we've been a touring band for 5-6 years now, and that's become a real part of our DNA. And I think this time more than ever, we were conscious during the songwriting process of how the songs translate to a live setting. So I think you can expect probably a more energetic, a more, kind of high energy, high intensity album than we've ever had throughout. And we have moments of ballads or kind of slower tempo songs, but overall I think it feels very uplifting, positive, and energetic.
Perfect. And well, as part of the audience, for me, it's really exciting to have a new album to listen to. But I imagine that in being part of the band, it's really, the creative process could be really hard, I imagine. So can you tell me a little bit, how was it to work in this album? How the idea was born? How was the teamwork? I would really like to know everything about that.
We started out knowing, we kind of said to ourselves about 2.5 years ago that we wanted to take time out to do this album, and we've loved every single album that we've done, but we've kind of been touring the last one whilst we're writing the next one, so it's not necessarily been okay, we'll take time out and we'll write this album and we'll really get bored and then we'll try new stuff and realize, oh, that's actually really bad, let's go over there. And we had the time to do that with this album. And with time comes, I think, imagination and creativity and we were in Japan touring the kind of like EP and the last album, and we had the time to stay out there and kind of get really inspired. We spent like an extra week and a half, a couple of us did out there, and got really inspired by the culture in Japan. But that happened in a lot of different places. So we got to really dive into places that we went on tour and take bits that we loved. And then Cherry Blossom was kind of born out of the trip to Japan, and a lot of the ideas, we came back to the UK and then kind of really honed in on it. And once we had those words, Cherry Blossom, and we had the concept, everything just kind of fell into place after that. All the colours, all the visuals, all the, even like some of the production things. I think once we had that one thematic central thing, everything just kind of funneled into that, which was really, really cool. And we've never had that before. So yeah, it was exciting.
Perfect. And well, it's been like a couple of years, maybe a little bit more, since the release of your last album. So how would you say the band has evolved to get now to Cherry Blossom?
I think we've had a couple of years kind of to grow. I think, you know, when you're in your 20s, like a couple of years is actually quite a long time to experience things, especially when you're sort of touring. So like, I feel like in a week of the Vamps world tour world, it's like a month of when you're off tour in like experiences, like you're going from so many different places, different time zones, meeting so many different people. So like 2 years of that has really enabled us to, I guess, be inspired in a way that perhaps that we haven't been before. I guess like a lot's happened, yeah, in our personal lives, but I guess musically as well, we have taken a bit more time to focus on what we wanted to do. And I think this time around, we've deliberately kind of not been inspired by that many other bands and artists, and instead of like making an album that perhaps was inspired by like a movement in music in general, we've kind of gone away from that a little bit. So yeah, I guess like the world has, it sounds a bit rubbish, but like, I guess like, yeah, the world has inspired us from our touring experiences and the people we've met along the way.
Of course. And well, from the first album, or the first time that you were in a recording, to plan a recording, what are the biggest or most important lessons that you've learned so far that has kept you going and that make you feel inspired to create new things?
I was gonna say, I think there comes a point where you can, like James mentioned earlier, you can try new things and you can be inspired by like whether it's trends or an artist that you're listening to. But I think and really think about what you want to say and what's going on in your own life and in your own thoughts and feelings, and whether it's relationships or in your family or touring or whatever it is. I think it's learning to really deep dive into that and unpick it. And I think one, it's really good for your mental health doing that. And then two, I think you do find a lot of true, hopefully authentic inspiration through that. So you find like things that you want to write about because you found a way to kind of conversate it in a way that you hadn't before, if that makes sense. Like you really are sourcing it only from yourself. And I think sometimes you can be limited pulling from other areas, whereas once you understand what you're going through, you can kind of really try and write the best song around those feelings. So I guess that's been a big part of this album, is understanding how we're feeling, where we're all at, and writing about it.
Okay, and one of the most interesting things in Glamour is that we always talk about the way we grow in relationships, whether it's a love relationship, friendship, teamwork. So I really find interesting, how is it the dynamic in a team band? Do you think that also growing individually helps the band to grow as a group?
Definitely. I feel like anything that happens to us individually inspires the songwriting and production of the Vamps. We take anything that's happening in our lives and put it in the music. So, and that's extremely important to put part of you in, the Vamps. So that's what we kind of do. We always kind of go back and forth with ideas, and it's such a collaborative process.
Perfect. And what would you say is the most satisfying thing about being part of the music movement slash industry right now? Because right now I think we're having really good releases, really good bands. And if, despite we are having like these really critical times, amazing music is being released. So how is it satisfying for you?
I'd say we're lucky because we're all like, it's a passion and it's a hobby, and we're lucky enough that we get to do it as a career. Number one is, I think, we're always very grateful for that, and that's a big shout out to the fans as well who've like supported us over the years. You have literally made like 4 lads' dreams come true, which is wicked. I think it's interesting being a musician and a songwriter during Corona because music tends to, in times of turmoil, be like the light in the dark, I think. And I think when people can't go out and their freedom's kind of been taken away from them, people are living vicariously through music and through media and through like films or Netflix or whatever it is. And that's so important, especially now. So for us to be able to like write music and release music during a period of time where people need it more than ever, it's really exciting because I think it takes on a whole new lease of life that it wouldn't outside of Corona.
Yeah, and I think TV shows and movies are like the disciplines that are really having a really hard time. But I think music has prepared itself to release new songs, to release new material. So how would you say you've turned into something positive all the things that we are going through right now?
I guess like for us, like as people and also the band, like the past few months have been a real time of like self-contemplation, and there's been like a reevaluation of what's important, I think, in everyone's lives. And I think moving forward, when we can hopefully go out again next year or whenever, I think people will have, like a more focused view and impression of what they enjoy the most in life and the people around them that sort of like contribute to their happiness. So I think, if there's anything to take from it, it is that moment of like self-contemplation and sort of weighing up what genuinely is important versus maybe some more superficial elements to life.
And one of the things that we've most read in social media and everything is that music is saving us, kind of like it's really incredible to listen to good songs, to new music. So how do you feel when your audience says that your music is like this really cool thing that is happening right now to them?
Music is an international language. We're all going through that. Whether it doesn't matter, your background, where you're from, what you believe in, everyone enjoys music, I feel. And there's so many things to connect with different people. I feel a lot of new people will be introduced to new type of music they would have never listened to before because of Corona, because they've basically been forced to stay indoors and kind of discover new music. So that's really interesting. I think, of course, music brings everyone together. It brings people together during shows, of course. So we can't do that at the moment. So there's a sense of community with the music, bringing people together, and people talk about it, and all on social media and everything. It spreads love, literally.
Perfect. And well, guys, for my last question, with a new album come new fans. So what does the new fans need to know about you?
Ooh.
I have a cowlick.
Really?
What? I have a cowlick here.
I've never noticed.
It's because it's never been
You
short.
can't really tell.
It has to be like really short for you to tell. But yeah, I've got a cowlick there. Exclusive, actually.
That is it. That should be the headline. Tristan's cowlick. That's it. Yeah, I would say that to any new fan, that's the main thing that you need to know coming into our band.
Yeah. Like the essentials, whether you're gonna, enjoy it or not, you need to know about the cowlick.
Perfect. Well, guys, thank you so much for this interview. It's been really exciting to talk to you, and congratulations on your new release.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Perfect.
Lovely to speak to you. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ciao.
Ciao.